Hi everyone, it's Sean, and this is part 2A of the DeLorean build. And this is where I will be priming the parts of the DeLorean. And you can see the primer here. Well, that's the new bottle. The old bottle's in the other pocket. Yeah. Well, okay, that was the new bottle. Anyway, I'll show you the parts. There you go. So I got all the parts in the box. I will do the, you can see them all here. So I will do the priming, and I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. So all the parts are primed now. I will put the primer in the box instead of my pockets, but you can see here all the primers on all the parts, and I will take it back to the apartment building, and that'll be it for a day or two, and then I will start segmenting the parts into detail painting groups. What I'll do is I'll put silver Sharpie on the parts that get painted the first color, maybe the parts that are black, maybe the parts that are gray, and I'll just go from there. So, and of course, when it gets to the train tracks, well, the railroad ties, there's going to be two different colors. So I'll probably do the ties first, mask them off, and then do the rocks. That's probably the best way to do it. So anyway, I will see you back at the apartment, and in a couple days I will do part 2. But just before I sign off, give you a little panorama of the park just north of my apartment building. This is where I go for walks and where I'll be priming the parts. And in the summer, when you have a bare parking lot, that's where I'll be testing out the RC cars in a bigger spot, and I'll just set up the tripod for that. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Hello everyone, I'm back again. As you can see, I did some work on the guide of the DeLorean Mark IV. I used the Model Hobby Color Converter app for the smartphone to identify the closest match to the colors in the paint I have access to, which is most of the time Tamiya, sometimes Testers in the case of steel, and sometimes Folkart in the case of the brass. So I will just turn the page here and show you the different colors. So you can see, you know, step 1 is flat gray and or black metallic. Step 2 is mostly gray with a little gloss green, of course. And of course, the bottom of this will be flat black. Not this side. This side won't even get primed. That way it's easier for the stuff to fit in on the tabs. Yeah, lots of gray. Bit of chrome silver here. So the colors are all highlighted, but what I'll show you what I'll do next. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. So you can see here all the parts, and once the primer's dry, you can see, you'll be able to see all the part numbers. So what I will do with the part numbers is I will put on silver Sharpie. I'll use my fine tip Sharpie to label beside the part numbers what color those parts should be. And then I will separate, you know, all the grays will be in one box, all the blacks will be in another box, and I will, you know, cut them off the sprue trees as needed. And then I will prime them in the separate boxes. Once I take them out of this big box, I'll prime them in the separate boxes, put them back in the box, prime the next set of parts, and that's how you can spray paint 2 colors at approximately the same time without risking any overspray. Now, as far as the ties, as I said, I will do the brown for the wood grain brown, then I'll mask it off and I'll do the rocks. And of course, a lot of the parts here, like you don't have to use the lightning rod. Those will be like a gloss green, And you only need to actually work on the flux capacitor. That'll be like a silver, except the top, which will be a white. So of course that'll be masked off too. And then of course you have this. So the base will be sprayed brown. I already have the brown for it. Then I'll use my folk art to detail paint everything. And over here, of course, you see how the primer didn't quite get the gray door. But that's okay because the door is going to be gray anyway. It's going to be inside the car, so you won't notice. And a lot of these parts will be silver. And then I'll do the detail painting for the blue inside. As you can see, they're primed now, so that'll all work out. There's the bottom of the body. That'll be black. I did prime the clear parts this time. The headlights will just get a white. These will get detail painted with the 3 colors. But first, I'll probably do the black outline. And then I'll detail paint the colors from there. Or what I might do is I might detail paint the 3 colors and then do the outline in black. Well, we'll see. And then of course you have the seats, so they'll be maybe the TS32 Haze Gray. This will be a base gray, and then I'll detail paint accordingly. And then of course the interior bucket will be a gray, and then you do the detail painting and everything. So, and you can see the guide for detail painting. Oh, I don't know, let's see. Step 3. See, you've already identified the color. Step 4. Steps 5 and 6. Step 7 is an assembly step, but there's step 8. There's some paint color. But you see how most of it is a light blue, but you don't have a spray paint that's light enough. So you'll use all folk art for that. And of course, step 9 and 10. So yeah, there you go. See, you're going to spray paint them flat black first, and then you're going to do the colors in between. See? Well, I don't have to mask off the attachment tabs as long as I cover up the tabs by spray painting the other surface. And as far as the tabs in here, you could just file them out just a little bit if you need to. Alright, so that'll be flat black. Part 12 is an assembly step. Alright, let's see what we got on the other side here. Here we go. So there's step 13 and 14, mostly silver. But if you look closely, yeah, that's interesting because I believe that the base of the thing is silver, and then there's black there, and black in the grooves. So, might do some masking on that one. Probably do the detail painting first, since the primer is already white. But I think I would spray the lightest colors first, then mask them off and spray the darkest colors next, because I found it's difficult. If you put down black first and you overspray, then it's hard to cover up the black. And then part 15, of course, will be the brown. And then you detail paint accordingly. And then part 15 is that's where the train wheels. So I gotta find out where those slots are. I'll be right back. I don't really see the metal rods for the wheels in here, but I do have a solution. Behind there is the spare parts section for the DeLorean. Well, for everything, really. So if I can find out which part actually... Well, technically that's for Kit, I think, so that won't work. You'd have to take everything out to look at it. So I'll drag that in the light and take a look. Alright, so here we go. Here's all the spare parts. So let's take a look at the numbers here. Oh, Mark 1 DeLorean. Here we go. Well, there's nothing in there that's going to be of any use to me. Because that's all the mount for the Mark II DeLorean and everything. So that won't be of any use to me. Oh, let's see here. No, not that either. I would have thought for sure that the Mark II DeLorean, I would have saved the wheel strands. Okay, well, maybe I moved them to the Mark III DeLorean box or something. Let's see here. No, they're not in there either. Well, that is, that's rather discouraging. Where would they be? Because I didn't use them for the Mark II or the Mark III DeLorean. Wait a second. Wait just a minute. I think I found them. Somehow they got mixed up into the Paul's Eclipse. Those are metal rods, all right. I don't know if they'll fit the DeLorean wheels or not. But those are metal rods. So that should work. All right. Now, let's check out Paul's Eclipse. Okay, Paul's Eclipse spare parts part 1 and 2. Nothing there. And of course you get into Enterprises. Okay, well, it appears those are the only metal rods I have. I hope they're going to work. What I just said, there they are. Now you can see how much thinner they are than the other metal rods, see? And how they have those little grooves at the edge to fit the wheels. So I found them. Alright, here we go. So as you can see, take my little Ziploc bags and I put the parts that'll fit in them in those bags, including the body of the DeLorean. Now I know it's in the Old West, it gets all dusty, but I see no reason not to protect it until I have to do any painting. Because you have to paint the mirrors black, you have to paint those integrated wires, and you'll have to paint that central stripe that goes down the sides of the car black, and of course underneath. But that'll all be for later. I don't want to risk masking it off, because then the masking will pull up the chrome, which happened before. Not going to risk that again. So that's about all for now. For this part 2, I guess. Part 2A of the DeLorean build. And I will be back with part 2B once I start doing the detail painting. So I'll see you here next time. Hi, it's Sean. I'm back. And this is the second part for the Part 2B video. You saw the pictures I took outside of the 3 main base colors that I did. I thought I'd give you a closer look now. So I used the Tamiya Lynn Gray for the gray parts. The doors, the main bucket, the seats, and the dashboard, which you might be able to see there. It's hard to tell because it's the way it's angled. And the part that goes behind the driver's seat that has the flux capacitor and the time circuits. Then I used TS83, which is Tamiya's metallic silver, on all the other parts. So I gave the flux capacitor a silver base, but there will be some sections that'll get masked off. Like, sorry about that, the video cut out. Anyway, this part here will have black, so will the part that the white Mr. Fusion thing sits on. Those will have light blue inside the silver catches. These ones will be colored, you see there are connectors there. They'll be colored either red or blue based on what part of the car they go on. And these parts will mainly stay silver. Oh, I realize I forgot to mask off their attachment points. I hope they can still, well, you can always sand them down. That's the good thing. You can always sand them down, the attachment points, if you need to. And there's the one that goes on top of the car. But the good thing is for that, its attachment points are underneath. They won't have been touched. There's the one that goes around the front of the car. Its attachment points did get colored. Now, I don't know if the entire thing got colored. Should have been braced at a different angle. But anyway, that's the silver parts. Then, of course, you have the Tamiya matte black parts, which are in this box. So you have the bottom of the body. Don't worry, there's nothing to connect here, so that's good. It's all on the other side. You have the tail lights. Now, I made them black because the back of the car pretty well is black, and then I'll fill in the color once the color dries. You have the black vents and their housings. And then you have the two black hoses for the front time circuit wooden tray. I haven't colored that yet. And here you have the actual steering wheel. But what I did do, I did remember to mask off that part. So you'll see some, looks like yellow. That is the masking for the attachment of the steering wheel so it can actually go in place. So basically that is, that's all for now. These are the main parts of the car that need to be colored. The rest, the train wheels, the tracks, the rock bed and the wooden ties, plus the wooden tray that holds the time circuits on the hood, none of that needs to be painted until much later steps. But I will still detail paint with a spray bottle what I can, at least the base color. And then I can do detail painting or assembly when I get to the hobby club meeting. You don't have to do anything on the main body of the car except the pinstriping. So that's all for now for the Mark IV DeLorean. And I will see you here next time for, well, the remaining part of the spray painting will be part 2B3. So when you get to part 3, you'll probably get to the detail painting. Then I'll splice all those sections together if it takes place over the course of 1 week. But anyway, that's the 2 of the 3 parts of part 2B are done. That's all for now, because remember, I only have about 3 spray painting boxes, and I can't do any more spray painting until those parts are dry and put in their respective bags based on color. That's what I'll do. I'll put all the parts that are one base color in the same Ziploc bag, and I'll get the next parts ready for spray painting. So that's all for now. Hope you're having a good weekend, and we'll see you here next time. Hello everyone, this is Sean, and this is the final part of the base color painting of the DeLorean Mark IV. So you can see I'm in the middle of masking off the train tracks to keep them the wood color. You can see the wood color I use for them here. But when it comes to the wooden tray that I'm going to use for the front of the hood, the tray that holds the time circuits, I'm actually going to use the Tamiya red-brown because that's the color closest to what it is on the Mark III. And I figure with some of the desert dust and everything, it'll be slightly more reddish than dark brown. So anyway, I'm going to continue masking. I'll show you the final product, and then we'll go to the park and do the spray painting. Be right back. Okay, so all the masking is done. I carefully used the X-Acto knife to cut the pieces so they cover just the tracks. And I'll just put the everything in the box and I'll be on my way. Of course, before I pack up the box, I'm going to have to put the spray paint in a container of warm water while I get ready to go. So I'll be, next time you see me, I'll be at the park, and I'll try to set up the tripod and do the spray painting on video this time. We'll see how it goes. So, see you there. Now, hello everyone. I'm out here at the park, and I'm getting ready to do the spray painting on the models. But I'm going to do each box separately. That way there's no contamination. So we'll start with the Tamiya TS1 reddish brown. Pick up the can, move everything out of the way. We'll see how it goes. Here we go. Alright. So there's the first piece. I'll put it in the box. Get the next piece ready. Alright. There's the next piece. The train tracks themselves. I'm going to do those with the Tester's copper. So, shake it up. And here we go for the rocks. This time I'm doing it from all sides to ensure even coverage. There we go. Put it back in the box. You can see the result there. There you go. Safely back in the box. And there we go. It's that simple. Everything will be protected from the weather. And that's all for the spray painting. So now I can splice all these parts together, and that should be Mark IV DeLorean Part 2 complete. Because Part 3 will comprise the detail painting at my hobby club this weekend. Well, in actually 3 days. So, see y'all later, and hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, it's Sean, and I thought I would give you a look at all the parts I've painted, plus a couple of the parts that I realized when I took a closer look at the diagram, they need more painting. So these are the train tracks, and if you look close at the middle, you'll see the little tabs, so the train tracks will actually fit this way onto the ties. So you have to paint the other side of them. And then of course I have to paint the other side of the front time circuit attachment and the little dashboard that goes on the roof. But other than that, pretty well everything got a good coat of a color, as you can see here. You can see all, and what of course I did also is I put silver Sharpie on all the part numbers so that I can tell them apart when it's assembly time and detail painting time. And of course what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to experiment with unmasking the train tracks to see if I did my job properly with the wood tie versus copper rock section. So let's see how we're doing. Oh, okay. There you go. Now I'm in camera. Okay, so here we go. There you go. You can see the reveal now. Well, it looks like giving the ties 2 days was a good idea. There's the ties. They still gleam a lot. I might have to give those ties a little bit of a flat coat or some kind of light sand dusting or something. Alright, so I'm going to come at this tie from this way. There we go. There you go. Well, that's good. It didn't stick too much. Didn't take off the paint. That's excellent. Alright. Let's try the third one. I mean the fourth one, because I already did one before the video just to see what the result would be. Oop, see? Here we go. Stand by. There you go. Not a bit of paint peel up. Good. I'm going to use this yellow Tamiya tape from now on. You just cut it to fit. Alright, so there's two more to go. Two more to go. Oh, gotta go with this one from this end, I think. Oh, there we go. The good thing is, even though I put them on in separate strips, they come off as one piece. That's even better. Okay, one more to go. One more. There you go. So, there you are. You have the copper rock railroad base, and you have the wood ties, the lighter wood color. So I think that's a successful masking job and something I'll remember for the future, that spray painting works with this yellow Tamiya tape. So that's all for now. This will be the final part of part 2 of which I'm going to call base color video. And part 3 of the DeLorean build, as I mentioned earlier today, will be the detail painting video. And any touch-ups that I need to do on any spray painted parts. Although, if you look at the train wheel, you'll see how even when I gave it a couple coats of primer, still didn't quite get all the sections. With the brass, it has kind of a grayish, coppery look, but I kind of like it. But if you look at because I went after all 4 sides on the coppery rocks, except for the end of the ties, it pretty well got everything. You can see a bit of the wood there. But the good thing is, bottom didn't even get primed. Didn't need it. But there you see where the tracks will go. Now you know what I'm thinking. I'm going to try a little test video on the tracks. I'm going to cut them off their sprues, because you know what parts they are, just to ensure I get even coverage. Be right back. Alright, so as you can see, I've got the track pieces here. Just going to do a little fit test to make sure that they fit in their pegs, even though the track pieces got some paint on them. Keeping in mind, of course, that the peg pieces can be widened if necessary. Which, or completely turned around, if I can get it out. Come on. Alright, turn it around again. Let's try this way. There's one, there's two. Alright, good. There. It's one set of tracks, yeah. You can see how you're going to need to do that side. But I'll just tape it upright, I think. Or set it down. Because remember, you don't need the attachments to be up. Yeah. There we go, see? There we are. Okay, it's snapped in place. Let's try this one. Let's try it this way. There we go. So that's how the ties will fit in place on the tracks. Of course, the tracks will be copper. Really doesn't show a great distinction from there. But I think the wood deck tan would be too light. Now, let's see here. Here's one of the wheels. So it should, theoretically, fit like that. It's really hard to tell how the train wheel's going to fit. or even if it will, but you can see how it's supposed to fit, but you need to have the other terrain wheel balanced and get it aligned just right. So when I put the wheels on, I'm going to make sure. Anyway, that's a good fit test. And you can see how you only need to do the other side of each of the tracks to get it done. It already got that surface. And it'll get that top surface when I do it, so it should work just fine. But what I will do, I think, from now on, is I will tape off the little tabs. So that's all for this video. I'll come back tomorrow with the final paint colors on the other sides of everything, and that'll be the end of the video. So talk to you then, and have a good day. Just a little last-minute video for tonight. I did a test attachment of the ties, as you saw. So what I've done now is I have masked off every part of the ties except the part that needs to be spray painted. That way you don't actually get any overspray where you don't want it to be. So you can see the two sides here. So that way I can kind of, you know, brace it against the box, spray paint the one side, and spray paint the other side. Or maybe hold it up in the clamps, which I believe I put in the drawer. 1 second. Well, that's not quite what I had in mind, but at least it's holding it at roughly the right angle that you'll need. And then I will just undo the clamps and do the same to the other side. And it should work. So that's what I'll have for tomorrow. And that's all for tonight. Everything is now ready because those two pieces are taped down. There's the color they need. The copper is braced at roughly the right angle. There it is. That way I don't get the paint all over my hands. I use the clamping mechanism instead. So that's pretty good. So, see you all tomorrow, and I'll do the spray painting video of the results. Bye-bye. Hi, it's Sean, and this is the final part of the base coat painting for the Mark IV DeLorean. So I got the other two sides of the train tracks spray painted today, so I'm going to let them dry until tomorrow night, which is when I take the drive to the Hobby Club meeting. I also did the silver on these two parts here. That's the inner roof dashboard. You can now see the buttons a lot easier. And of course, you've already seen these parts. Now, the good thing is, I can actually leave the train tracks in that box because I won't be bringing them along on the trip tomorrow. I will be bringing all the other detail parts, of course, because that'll be what the detail painting's all about. Because this part will need detail painting. That one with the flux capacitor, the tray, the dashboard, the some of these parts here as well, especially the flux capacitor. I mean, not Mr. Fusion, sorry. And the silver band things, and even those. But I will show you what I'll be using as a reference for the colors. Be right back. So you can see here the Mark III DeLorean, which I will be using as a reference for the colors, and you can see how fine some of the details are, right down to the hands on the clock face, which I used with my ultra-fine Sharpie. But that should enable me to get everything all painted properly before it's installed. Inside and out, because you can see here, you see the brass clock, you see the details. Yeah, I never looked at it above before, but you can see the details of the dashboard from here, see? That's quite good. Yeah. Can't see. Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, and you're going to have some accessories for the DeLorean Mark IV. You'll have the temperature control gauge for the locomotive engine. So anyway, that's the end of part 2. I'll combine this video with the rest of part 2, upload it to the laptop, and when the Enterprise B is done, this will be the next build series. So anyway, talk to you all later and hope you have a good weekend. Bye-bye.